Pancake everyone. Have you ever experienced this? Everything the stores offer, whether it's cars or bicycles, just doesn't suit you. You want something different. Something that's not like what everyone else has. Don't understand what we're talking about? Well, then you're a lucky person. But the people on today's list had a tough time. To get what they wanted, they had to do it all themselves. Yes, that's right. Today we'll tell you about homemade vehicles. Buckle up and let's go. Let's start with something simpler. Something you can find in the movies. The remake of the legendary post-apocalyptic film Mad Max Fury Road not only received an Oscar nomination, but also brought back fans' interest in the genre, and along with that interest came the desire to do it like in the movies. Most people would just make a costume for a Comic-Con and be satisfied, but not Adolf Lahmann. As a game designer, he decided to apply his professional skills and modify a car in the style of his favorite film. The vehicle is a blend of post-apocalyptic, diesel, and steampunk aesthetics. It turned out unique and colorful. You definitely wouldn't miss it on the road. However, most of the details are not practically functional. There are whole generations of Americans who grew up playing with Hot Wheels cars. At some point, Luis Rodriguez decided he couldn't live peacefully until he recreated his favorite childhood toy, the 2Jet Z. It was so different from everything else on the streets. Being a computer technician, Luis approached the project thoroughly. He gathered parts from other cars, including the chassis of a Nissan 300ZX, a Toyota engine, and a Subaru transmission. And most importantly, the 2JZ GTE engine used in the Toyota Supra Mk4. Thanks to his resourceful approach, not only did Luis end up with a very similar model, but it's also fast. All thanks to its lightweight design and powerful engine. But let's move on to something more original. While advanced countries are thinking about how to electrify cars, third world countries have different problems, extending the life of their four-wheeled friends. Everyone copes as best as they can. For example, in 2011 in Cambodia, an old Toyota Hilux pickup truck with a body covered in wooden panels was spotted. And in Colombia, Jose Mauricio Pardo did something similar, like an unknown skilled person from Cambodia, and covered his car with bamboo. Of course, such work could not go unnoticed. As a result, this bamboo-covered car has become a popular spot for selling black coffee and various snacks, especially among foreign tourists. Although Jose doesn't particularly enjoy the attention. He doesn't talk much about the car. But we will tell you. We will tell you about a couple more examples where unique and homemade car designs help owners promote their small businesses. For example, Oja Obani from Nigeria, where a car is not just a necessity but a luxury. That's why it's often difficult to replace them. Even in the dry, hot climate of Africa, car bodies eventually become covered in rust and deteriorate. To extend the life of his pickup truck, Oja, a skilled weaver of baskets, boxes, and mats, covered not only the body but also the side mirrors, wheels, dashboard, and seats with woven fibers of the raffia palm. Practically everything inside and outside this car is covered in palm fiber weaving. Of course, this couldn't go unnoticed and not only became excellent advertising for Oja's craft, but also made the pickup truck the most famous car in the Nigerian city of Ibadan. But that's not all. Do you know how often people involved in shoe repair or sales modify cars to look like shoes for the sake of business advertising? Red women's shoes on a stiletto? No problem. Stylish men's Oxfords? Here you go. Like in previous cases, this is the kind of advertising that doesn't go unnoticed. But such DIY projects don't always have practical motives. Guo, from the Chinese city of Zhengzhou, spent his whole life as a farmer and decided to fulfill his childhood dream while also delighting his beloved grandson. Guo chose an unconventional way and developed a child-sized version of a Lamborghini. And it's not just a body with plastic wheels. No, it's a real electric car with its own motor, just very small. Inside this little car, measuring 1800 by 900 millimeters, hides an engine capable of reaching speeds of up to 40 kilometers per hour. On a full charge, the mini Lambo can travel a whole 60 kilometers. And the most amazing thing is that Guo didn't spend millions of dollars in the development. In total, he spent 5,000 yuan and 6 months of work. The car model was eventually named after its inventor, Old Guo. And since we're on the subject of Lamborghini, that's the one that amateur mechanics often want to replicate. A resident of the American city of Milwaukee, Ken Imhoff, once saw a Lamborghini Countach in the movie The Cannonball Run and decided that he needed one just like it. He spent 17 years of relentless work, never leaving his basement. In this case, Ken built the entire car by hand. He independently created the body from steel tubes and aluminum sheets, and even made the wheels himself. However, not everything could be made from scratch. Ken took the V8 engine from Fort Cleveland, the suspension from Chevrolet Corvette, and the manual transmission from there as well. Despite Ken replicating the same body as the Lamborghini, his version of the car ended up being 25 kilograms heavier, and due to a less powerful engine, it was slower too. Getting the homemade Lamborghini out of the basement became a separate adventure. It was like Homer with the Trojan horse. They had to dismantle an entire wall of the basement level and dig up the lawn. As you can imagine, such a serious approach to a hobby couldn't go unnoticed. Ken had constant arguments with his wife, which even led to her leaving the house and taking their daughter with her. According to Ken, at that moment he even considered destroying his creation. But reason prevailed over emotions. After thinking it through, he realized that working on the project was more interesting to him than driving the car he had built with his own hands. Ken sold the homemade Lambo for $80,000. His wife and child returned, and peace was restored in their home. Another DIY creation straight from the USSR is popularly known as the Lombardiga. Inventor Evgeny Titsev wanted a Lancia Strata so badly that neither scarcity nor limited model range could stop him. By 1989, Evgeny already had extensive experience in designing high-speed boats. He utilized all that knowledge to turn a Lada Zhiguli into a sports car in just a couple of years. However, the Lombardiga only looks like a high-speed automobile. While Evgeny used the tubular frame principle like Lamborghini and made the body from fiberglass, the homemade vehicle had a modest engine from the VAZ 2101, and one shouldn't expect any super speeds from it. In 2018, it was purchased by a DIY enthusiast named Yuri Trepakov for 50,000 rubles. In the same year, Yuri bought another Soviet DIY creation that he considers legendary, according to his own admission. The virus breaks all the rules for Soviet DIY projects. It's too wide and long, and it sits low to the ground. Plus, its engine is more powerful than loud. On paper, the virus can accelerate up to 100 kilometers per hour, and it sounds like old American car models. Deep and impressive. It has a unique suspension and a fuel tank on each side. The body design captivates fans. We can only be pleased that such exceptional models have ended up in the hands of an enthusiast. Now let's move on to some crazy car variations. For example, there is the 1999 Chevrolet Camaro, nicknamed the Upside-Down Camaro. Why? It's simple. An engineer known as Speedy Cop, unlike his colleagues, didn't want to improve the technical specifications or the appearance of his DIY car. No, he wanted to make the design of the body absurd and funny. To achieve this, he simply flipped the car body upside down. But don't worry, Speedy Cop wasn't just teasing his car for no reason. He had a goal, which was participate in the parody 24-hour Le Mans Marathon, where cars worth no more than $500 could race. Now, the next car wouldn't be able to participate in this playful race because its cost exceeded $1,000. You might wonder where the money went. Well, it was spent on 500,000 Lego pieces. Yes, that's right. We have a car made out of Lego bricks, and it actually drives. The super awesome micro-project was the idea of Raul Oida, an engineer from Romania, and Steve Sammartino, a businessman from Australia. These guys love Lego so much that they wanted to drive a car made of it, and they succeeded in creating a full-sized car with a pneumatic engine consisting of 256 pistons capable of reaching a speed of 28 km per hour. It might be capable of more, but the experimenters didn't want to take risks and test the maximum speed. They were afraid the Lego car would fall apart while driving. And you know what? Lego is such a versatile building toy that only a few parts of the car couldn't be made from plastic bricks: the wheels and the supporting structure. In fact, on the internet, you can find many examples of human creativity. There are limousines made from ordinary pickup trucks, inexplicably joined together to create wider cars, convertibles made from regular sedans, two-story houses on wheels made from Volkswagen Transporter T1 vans, or pickups created by combining the bodies of two different cars. Unfortunately, the creators of these projects remain anonymous heroes of humorous stops, and we can't tell you anything about them. So let's talk about Hunan students and their means of transportation that the driver doesn't want but has to operate while lying down. The students simply realize that sitting behind the wheel for hours on end can be very exhausting. On the other hand, you can lie down forever. So they built a structure that resembles a sports equipment for bobsledding. The capsule, worth 50,000 yuan, is nearly 3 meters long and can reach a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. One can only guess how comfortable it really is to operate such a vehicle and control the situation on the road. Alright, enough about cars. Let's talk about a DIY helicopter. Although it probably doesn't quite meet your expectations. In 1979, Vasily Yakovlevich Artemchuk built the Strekoza helicopter. It's worth noting that Artemchuk was not an amateur but a genuine aircraft designer. He simply wanted to build a helicopter in his own home, more specifically in his home garage, which took a whole 5 years. Many months of meticulous work went into assembling the aircraft, almost entirely from available materials and parts from agricultural machinery. Despite that, it can reach a speed of 150 kilometers per hour. And how can you make a homemade helicopter without homemade parts? It got to the point where some rotor blades were made of glued wood. Thankfully, experience allowed for it. But that's not all. This homemade aircraft even has a stabilizer for safe flight, adjusting speed during turns to ensure even an unexperienced pilot can fly smoothly. The instrument panel includes only the essentials: a speedometer, both horizontal and vertical, and an engine temperature sensor. Oh, and you're right to notice that this helicopter has no covering and still weighs over 110 kilograms. We won't dwell too long on homemade aircraft. We recently released a video about them on our channel. If you're interested, take a look. Although, you didn't think that movie-inspired ideas would end with cars, did you? Of course, having seen James Bond and Iron Man, humanity is trying every trick in the book to invent jetpacks, the kind that allows you to soar above the ground like in the movies, making the whole world wait. But it's not going so well. Things keep breaking, test pilots keep falling and breaking something. The more cautious ones launch jetpacks with mannequins. In short, we seem to be far from such things. However, one thing that has passed the test is the jet backpack designed by Slovenian athlete Filip Flisar. As the leader of the national ski cross team, he managed to reach speeds of about 120 kilometers per hour thanks to his skis and the jet backpack. The backpack, weighing 40 kilograms, achieves this remarkable result through the athlete-specific skills and the snow cover during winter. He hasn't figured out how to achieve the same in summer yet. But all that is just a bit of fun. Want to be truly amazed? How about a bicycle made of ice cream sticks? Such a thing really exists. Thanks to a Chinese welder, Sun Chao, he painstakingly glued together 22,000 wooden ice cream sticks over the course of 10 months to proudly announce that every part of the bicycle, even the chain in the wheels, was made from ice cream sticks. And it's a fully functional model capable of carrying an adult. Moreover, it's not just functional. Sun Chao also thought about the design. In his work, the sticks depict dragon scales, and the skilled electric welder perfected the dragon image. The result is a true Chinese dragon. Impressed? You haven't seen anything yet. Wait until we tell you about the homemade submarine. Yes, that's right. A regular Chinese farmer named Zhan Shen, without any formal education, built a small submarine for himself. It measures 6 meters in length and can dive to a depth of 1 meter. The air supply is provided by a simple long tube. Zhan Shen took only 2 months to create this marvel capable of reaching a speed of 13 kilometers per hour. Unbelievable, isn't it? And finally, we have a dramatic survival story in the desert for you. Way back in 1993, Emile Leroy embarked on a journey in his Citroën 2CV, which broke down at the worst possible moment. Suddenly, Leroy found himself stranded in the desert with a broken-down car. As it turned out, the breakdown was serious, and without specialized skills and spare parts, it couldn't be repaired. But what can you do in a desperate situation when you're left without food and water, and the nearest settlement is hundreds of kilometers away, without specialized skills? Leroy pondered, calculated, and turned his Citroën into a motorcycle in the style of Mad Max, managing to escape the desert alive and well. We hope this video wasn't like crossing a desert without water, and you learned something new from it. Well, until next time, bye-bye!